Kali Yuga, very few will be there who actually want to serve the Lord. So our sincere desire should be that this pure desire should manifest from our heart, that we try to serve the Lord. And there should not be any desire to seek material benediction. Okay, let us begin. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pad Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dindhu Jagatpate Shukanta Radha Kantate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Prami Hari Priye Vansha kaltarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu Nanda Shri Adya Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashat Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So we will discuss the 15th chapter. We'll continue to discuss the 15th. Hare Krishna. Are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
आपका वीडियो ऑफ हो गया.
Okay. मेरा वीडियो तो ऑन है लेकिन आप सबका स्क्रीन पे कुछ नहीं आ रहा है. It will come. Today the connection is poor because too much of heavy traffic, too much of usage. People are sending each other New Year wishes. So that Hare Krishna. Sorry, today is a session today. So Krishna opening up this chapter by revealing that this world is an upside down. It's a perverted reflection of the real existence which exists in the spiritual world. And having come in this world, Krishna has already spoken in the 9th chapter also. And anityam asukham lokam imam prapasya bhajasvama. And what is the purpose of bhajan? Is to extricate oneself, is to release from the entanglement of this material existence. So further as describing about this material world in the second verse, he says, Adharsha urdhvam prasartasya shakha guna pravidha vishaya pravalaha adharsha mulani anushantatani karma anubandhini manushya loke. So we saw in the last verse, Krishna is saying that the roots are going upward and the branches are coming downwards. But this material existence, this tree which is compared with the banyan, this material world is compared to the banyan tree, it is very, very strange, very complicated. Why? Because not only the branches are going downward, but some of the branches are even upward. Adhas cha urdhvam. Adha means which goes down, which degrades or goes down. And urdhvam means which goes up. Thus the shakha. Shakha means the branches. And how this tree is nourished? Normally the tree is nourished through the water. You pour water and the tree gets nourished. Guna pravriddha vishaya pravala. But this very complicated tree, this very uncommon tree of material existence, it is nourished by the three modes of material nature. As we have discussed in the last chapter, that how the material nature works is through the influence of the three modes. So the influence of the three modes nourish this tree. Then adhascha mulani anushantatani. So the roots are also in the twigs. Okay. And here also is saying the twigs are what? Twigs that is extending from the branches. The small branches from where many sub branches come, twigs are there. The twigs are the objects of the senses. Vishaya. Guna pravidha, it is nourished, and Vishaya pravalaha. The twigs. Twigs are the objects of the senses. And the trees, adhascha mulani anushantatani. First it says adhascha urdham shakha. Shakha means the branches. The branches are going upwards and downwards. In the previous verse, it was saying that the branches are going downwards and the roots are going upward. But now Krishna is saying not only that, the branches are going both upwards and downwards. And again here he is saying that adhascha mulani anushantatani. Some of the roots which are coming from the branches, they are going downwards. You have seen the banyan tree. From the banyan tree, from the branches also some roots come. And those roots are coming down. And karmanu bandhini manushya loke. And by performing karma, karma means what? Fruitive activity. By performing karma or fruitive activity, anubandhini. Bandhini means to bind or to keep oneself captive. Manushya loke. The living entity in this human form of life is forced to live in this material existence. So the branches of this tree extend downwards and upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. So what is the discovery here? The branches are not only downwards, it is upwards also. And it is nourished, how this tree is nourished by the three modes. The twigs are the objects of the senses, and the tree also has roots going down. Not just going up, it has the tendency to go down. And everyone who is within this material existence How are they kept captive or bound? By fruitive activity. That is why in Bhagavad Gītā consistently Krishna is hammering one conception is to give up the fruitive action. Krishna is speaking so much about Buddhi Yoga or Nishkam Karma Yoga. To give up Sakam Karma. Because Sakam Karma means one will continue in material existence. He cannot be released. He cannot be extricated. The descriptions of the banyan tree is further explained here. Its branches spreads in all directions. Many years back, probably 2 years back when we were beginning this chapter. So I did some search about the banyan tree. And I found that there was a banyan tree near Calcutta. It would extend to 3.5 kilometers. Can you just imagine? 3.5 kilometers. So this material existence is as compared to the banyan tree. Why? Because one does not know from where it is beginning and where it will end. And its branches are spread in all directions. In the lower parts, there are variegated manifestations of living entities. Human beings, animals, and Prabhupada names the animals. Which animals? Horses, cows, dog, cat, etc. They are situated on the lower parts of the branches. So the branches are going both downwards and upwards. So downward means the earthly planet and those planets which are below the earthly planets. Whereas the upper parts are higher forms of living entities, the demigod, Gandharvas, and many other higher species of dog. So these are the heavenly planets. As a tree is nourished by water, so this tree is nourished by the three modes of material nature. Sometimes we find that our tract of land is barren for want of sufficient water. And sometimes the tract is very green. Similarly, where particular modes of material nature are proportionately greater in quantity, the different species of life are manifested accordingly. The twigs of the tree are considered to be the sense objects, the twigs. By development of the different modes of nature, we develop different senses. And by the senses, we enjoy different varieties of sense objects. The tip of the branches are the senses. Ear, nose, eyes, etc. These are all knowledge acquiring senses, which are attached to the enjoyment of different sense objects. This is how the creation is. This is how the material creation has been made. This is what the conditioning is. Or this is what the default setting is. Everyone, the senses are very naturally inclined or attracted by the sense objects. Why? Because this has been created in this way. The twigs are sound. These are the sense objects. The tip of the tree are the senses. And the twigs itself are the sense objects in the form of sound, form, touch, and so on, the sense objects. These subsidiary roots are attachment and aversion. What are the subsidiary roots? Which are coming from the branches. This is attachment and aversion, raga and dvesha. So every action which one performs in this material existence is propelled by these two aspects, raga and dvesha. So Krishna says so many times, raga dvesha vimukteshu vishayan indriyaschara atma vesha vidheyatma prasadam adhigacchati. Second chapter. Which are byproducts of different varieties of sufferings and sense enjoyments. The tendencies towards piety and impiety are considered to develop from these secondary roots, which spreads in all directions. The real root is from Brahmaloka. Why from Brahmaloka? Not from Pataloka. Anyone knows why the real root is from Brahmaloka? Because Brahmaji is the secondary creator. And he stays in the Brahmalok. And the other roots are in the human planetary systems. After one enjoys the results of virtuous activities in the upper planetary system, he comes down to the earth and renew his karma. What is the verse? A Brahma Bhuvana Roka Punaravartino Arjuna. And also there is one more verse. Shine Punne Marte Lokam Vishanti. So he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. Very nice example is given of snake and ladder. You played this Saap Sidi ka khel? What is in Saap and Sidi? You get a ladder and you get elevated. But when you are at the higher level, there is always a threat of the snake biting. That is the exhaustion of the piety. So again, one is forced to come down, he is thrown down. So he comes down to this earth and renews his karma or fruitive activities for promotion. This planet of human being is considered the field of activities, Kshetra. We have studied Kshetra and Kshetragya in the 13th chapter. Further, Krishna is explaining about this material existence. He says, Narupamasye tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nacha sampratishtha ashvatthamenam sovirudha moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva tata padam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya tameva chadyam purusham prapadde yata pravritti prasata purani na rupamasya iho tatha upalabhyate. The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. Krishna is himself declaring. So these scientists, whatever they are discovering or whatever they are claiming, it is all, it is nothing to do with reality. Because Krishna is himself saying that the real form of this tree cannot be perceived. So all the theory of evolution is all illusion. There cannot be any substance. No one can understand. Na anto na cha adir. Adir means to begin. How it begins, from where it begins. Na anto na cha adir. And where it ends, no one knows. So what to do? So ashvatthamenam, this ashwat tree, na anto na cha adir. What one has to do with this tree, which the beginning and the end is not known, its form is not known. The Krishna says, asanga shastrena dridhena chitva. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. So whoever is within this existence of material creation is compared to one who is on this tree. So how to get out of this tree is to cut it. Cut the roots. Krishna is clearly saying that one has to cut the roots. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Okay, if we have to cut down the roots, we have to come out of the tree, then where to go? What to do? Next verse is saying, Tatha padam tat parimargitavyam. Thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya. So Krishna is talking about the spiritual world. Yasmin gata, who once reaches there, na nivartanti bhuya. Again, he does not have to come back. Tameva chadhyam purusham prapadde. And what one has to do there, or how one can go there? By purusham prapadde. One has to seek shelter. One has to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. So in the first time, Krishna is again reinforcing that he is the cause of all causes. He's already explained that in the 7th chapter, in the 9th chapter, elaborately in the 10th chapter. So again here he is emphasizing that he is the root, he is the foundation. First, Krishna is saying that one will not be able to know na anto na chadir, from where it begins and where it ends. But here, in the second word, one who knows Krishna, he can know. Yatha pravrittir prasarta purani. Prasarta means the extension, and pravritti means the beginning. So where it is beginning from the Supreme Lord. The Prabhupada says in the purport, it is now clearly stated that the real form of this banyan tree cannot be understood in this material world. Since the root is upward, an extension of the real tree is on the other side. When entangled with material expansion of the tree, one cannot see how far a tree extends, nor can one see the beginning of this tree. Yet one has to find out the cause. I am the son of my father is the son of such and such a person. By searching in this way, one comes to Brahma, who is generated by the Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Finally, in this way, when one reaches the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the end of research work. One has to search out that the origin of this tree, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, through the association of persons who are in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is Asanga Shastrena. So by proper association only, one can learn detachment. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion on spiritual science. Okay, sorry. There's something else. Then by understanding, one becomes gradually detached from the false reflection of reality, and by knowledge, one can cut off the connection and actually become situated in the real tree. The word asang is very important in this connection because the attachment for sense enjoyments and lording it over the material nature is very strong. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures. So what is the most authoritative scripture is Bhagavad Gītā. And what does Bhagavad Gītā emphasize is detachment. And one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussion in the association of devotees, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satam prasanga mamavir samvido bhavanti hitkarna rasayan katha. 3:25:25. Who can be first? Kana or Manish? Let us see who opens first. Very beautiful verse. This summarizes what Srila Prabhupada is writing here. Very, very important verse. Okay, let us discuss that verse today. Okay. Kana was slow today. Very beautiful verse. Satam prasanga mamavir samvidho bhavanti hitkarna rasayana katha tajjoshanada suapavarga vartmani Shraddha Ratir Bhaktiranuprameshyati. So Satam Prasanga. So the first Nama Prad is Satam Ninda. What is the first Nama Prad? Is to blaspheme the devotees of the Lord who have dedicated their lives in the propagation of the holy names. Satam means those devotees who have dedicated their life for service of the Lord, pure devotees. Prasangat means in their association. And what does it mean to be in association of pure devotees? Mama Veera Samvidho. Discussion on the pastimes and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is association. Otherwise, it has no meaning of association. Association means Mama Veera Samvidho. And what is the result of such an association? Bhavanti Hitkarna Rasayana Katha. Rasayan, you know. Rasayan is not chemical. Rasayan is the axillary aushadhi that cures. How it cures? Because it is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. Rasa. So that rasa that every jiva is seeking, that rasa is contained where? In the discussion and pastime of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. So when one comes in the association, in that association he discusses. So he is completely satisfied and his heart is filled with joy. By cultivating such knowledge, and gradually one becomes advanced on the path of liberation, and thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed, then real devotion and devotional service begins. We discussed that in the last verse also, in the 14th chapter, that when one comes to this stage of being freed, that means he is liberated from the influence of the three modes. Mam choya avicharena bhakti yogena sevate. Sa gunana samite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So when one comes to that platform of brahma bhuyaya kalpate, then devotional service begins. Then real devotion and devotional service begins. So Prabhupada says, let us see the purport. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. Both aspects. Always two aspects are there. One is, like previously also Prabhupada was explaining, one who is fully Krishna conscious. So how to be fully Krishna conscious? And one is fully Krishna conscious, what he will perform? He will perform pure devotional service, is described here. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. This is the first thing. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. Very clear. On our own, we can do only one thing. That is vidvans. Only destruction. So Prabhupada is saying that this is the first thing. The first point is that one must seek such the association. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. Very clear. Foolish people who are thinking, they have the Shastra and they have their own mind and intelligence, and they can know. They can never know. One has to seek the association of devotees, and also what he has to do, one must give up the association of materialistic persons. Very important. This is asanga shastrena, drinena chitva. In my own personal experience, I have seen those who came in touch, unless and until they gave up the asat sang. Actually, those who could not give up the asat sang, they are all gone. They're no longer. Only one can come to the satsang when he gives up a satsang. So here, one must give up the association of materialistic person and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotees, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth because they do not associate with devotees. They cannot understand that the absolute truth can be person and have personal activities. This is very difficult subject matter. Prabhupada is very practical, a very difficult subject matter. And unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. So Prabhupada is exposing us. Unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotees cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories because spiritual life is not explained to them in proper mood. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees. And by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental life, so again, effort has to be there. Just by coming in association is still not sufficient. One contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord. The path to liberation is open. And he is free. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed. Not everyone. And his attraction for association with the Lord and the devotees increases. So how to know that we are making progress? This is the yardstick. This is the benchmark. That attraction for association with Lord and his devotee increases. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. Very powerful. This is how one will feel the presence of the Lord. The devotees who make this association develop, develops the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord. And then being situated in transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. What Prabhupada is saying here. The first thing that Prabhupada said, therefore one must learn, come back to the purport. Therefore, one must learn detachment by discussion of spiritual science based on authoritative scriptures, and one must hear from persons who are actually in knowledge. As a result of such discussions, in the association of devotee, one comes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first thing one must do is surrender to him. The descriptions of that place whence having gone, one never returns to this false deflected tree is given here. Yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the original root from whom everything has emanated. So in so many ways, Krishna has explained that in the 7th chapter, in the 9th chapter, in the 10th chapter. To gain the favor of that personality of Godhead, one has only to surrender. And this is a result of performing devotional service. What does surrender means? Surrender means that one is performing devotional service by heart. And what it means to be performing devotional service by heart? By hearing, chanting, and we don't want to do that. Most difficult thing in devotional service practice is we don't want to hear and we don't want to chant. Is it right or not, Kana? That means one is not in, he is just making a show. He is making a fool of himself. No one else. He is just fooling himself. So surrendering means one is having attraction for devotee sangha. And what is devotee sangha? That he is having attraction for hearing the pastime, the discussion on the topics related to Krishna. He is cause of the extension of the material world. This has already been explained by the Lord himself. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the origin of everything. Therefore, to get out of the entanglement of this strong banyan tree of material life, one must surrender to Krishna. As soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from this material extension. And what it means to surrender to Krishna, we have discussed through this verse 325, 25. Okay, I'll stop here. Any discussion? So Krishna is in these verses explaining about the precarious situation of material existence. And also he is giving a very strong recommendation that one should get out of here by using the axe of detachment, cutting the roots. What are the roots of existence in material creation? Is attachment. Okay. The next verse, Krishna will explain what are the symptoms of surrender, how one can develop the surrendering attitude. That we will discuss day after tomorrow. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, Putrada Ekadashi. So like we discussed last time, we will have kirtans. Kana, you want to perform? So but you must practice properly. Which bhajan you want to perform? You write to me. Okay.
Prabhuji, I'll recite some shlokas.
But tomorrow is a Shri Hari Vasare Hari Kirtana Vidhana. Okay. So we have to follow. Not that we have to propose that what I want to do. Then it is not spiritual. Last Ekashi, you were not there. We had very wonderful session of Kirtan. And many devotees from Bargad also joined. I think maybe they will join tomorrow also. They had a desire to perform Kirtan. We could not accommodate all of them here last time. Okay. But not taking away the importance of what Krishna is revealing in this chapter about this material existence. Bolo. So after hearing from Krishna, if we have a little bit of intelligence, what we should do? We should think of winding up from here, leaving this place. But does that desire manifest? वो इच्छा जग रही है? Is there some awakening, some enlightenment? Very difficult, very difficult. So we have to hear, and hear. Hammer by hearing. So we keep hammering, there will be some crack. And once there is a crack, then the case can be opened up. Okay. Quickly, Prabhus. I don't want to just hang on.
So, Prabhuji, so we have, so that means that.
You are muted.
Yes.
Again?
So, Prabhuji, that means if we detach ourselves from this world, that means we nahi. If we surrender ourselves from this world, that means we'll be automatically um,
Detached.
detached from here, from this world. So that means that's kind of a little proof of us surrendering, right?
What kind of proof? Where is the proof? The statement is that if we surrender, then we'll be automatically detached. But what it means to surrender, we explain. What does surrender mean?
Surrender, like not being like
What is surrender? Very clearly, Prabhupada is emphasizing on the purport, what it means to surrender. Who has understood what is surrender? What is the process of surrender?
Prabhuji, to get out of this entanglement.
Your voice is breaking. You unmute and speak now. Then only we will be able to hear you.
Prabhuji, to get out of this entanglement.
Hmm. To get out of this entanglement, one has to surrender. Now, what is the process of surrendering? What does it mean to surrender? Just by saying surrender, 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 or chanting surrender, 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 do we become surrendered? And we become detached and we are freed from this material existence. What we have to do? What is the process of surrendering?
Prabhuji gave up the association of materialistic people.
Very good. Very good. That is very important aspect. But what to do? All around us is materialistic men. Hardly we have anyone who is a devotee around. So we can be with them, but still we can be out of their association. This is very important. How to do that?
By association. Prabhuji taking association of.
Krishna gives the example in the 5th chapter of the lotus leaf or the lotus flower. It is always in water, isn't it? But still it is not affected by the water. You've seen a lotus leaf? What is the quality of the lotus leaf? It remains untouched by water, although it is in water. Have you seen a lotus leaf or not? Jaldi bolo.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I've seen.
The lotus leaf has a special quality. If you even pour water, it will not retain water. It is waxed. It is waxed. The water will pass away immediately. That means even if we are with materialistic people, we do not take them seriously. We do not give any attention to what they say. We just do what is required to be done and move on. Finish. But here Prabhupada is giving the process very clearly. Yes, Manish Prabhu? What is the process of surrendering? Very important. What we think surrender is completely different, is completely opposed to what actual surrender is. And how we can easily surrender, Prabhupada is very revolutionary giving in this purport. Yes, Manish Prabhu, you explain.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think Prabhupada is emphasizing that through the process of hearing and also by chanting, we can gradually become eligible to surrender, Prabhuji.
The first thing is by performance of devotional service. How one is surrendering? By performing devotional service. And how the process of devotional service begins or intensifies is through the process of hearing and chanting. Okay. So if we are developing attachment for hearing and chanting, that means we have already developed detachment from this material existence or from this material world. Only those aspiring students or devotees can have inclination for hearing and chanting, those who are detached. Others cannot. Those who are attached will not be able to participate in it. Again and again they will withdraw. You try them, you catch them by their neck and drag them to come. 2-3 days they will come and again they will turn back. Why? Because the process of devotional service has not begun. Why? Because they are not Krishna conscious. So both aspects, how to be Krishna conscious is to hear, chant. And based on hearing and chanting, when we perform devotional service, it is for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Anything done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord is beyond modes. It is transcendental. Cannot be affected by the 3 modes. Okay? So what is your understanding now? Well, don't leave it. Otherwise, we will have the same understanding. We will drag with the same conception that we are having.
Okay, so Prabhuji, we have to give up the association to become detached from this world.
No, it will not work. We have to intensify our association and perform the activity of hearing and chanting. That will automatically be effective. It will automatically become detached. There's no need to make any external effort. It will automatically, that's what Prabhupada is saying. That as soon as one surrenders unto Krishna, one becomes detached automatically from the material extension. Automatically. If you are coming in association and performing hearing and chanting, automatically you will be out of a satsang. You will only be able to do satsang when you are out of a satsang. Satsangat mukta duhu sango. There's another beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. I don't want to make it go till 9. I was thinking I will get the class. Okay, it is 8:32. Okay, Manish Prabhu, show that verse. Satsangat mukta duhu sango. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. When the Pandavas are retiring. Satsanga, Satsangha, Satsanga, Mukta Duhu Sango, Dushango. You also try, Kana. You should be very good and expert in finding where the verse is. Srimad Bhagavatam says when he is in satsang, that means he is already out of a satsang. Very clear. Yes, thank you. Satsanga mukta duhu sango hatum no sahate buddha kirtemanan yasho yasya sakrat akarnya rochanam. Show the translation. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord, how in association with pure devotees, and have become freed from bad materialistic association, can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. Then how could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with him, his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing him, sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. The most important thing is that one who has come in satsang, that means he must have given up the Sangha. That is why it says the intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association. Then only one can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord. We are feeling sleepy. What it means. Okay. So very important, very, very important is to be, the most positive thing is to be in satsang, to be in right association. And what will happen in association? Hearing, chanting, reading, sharing, Shravana and Kirtan. So tomorrow one has to perform Kirtan. If you have done Shravan, naturally to perform Kirtan. And if you do Shravan and Kirtan, then what is the natural outcome? There will be Smaranam. One can think of Krishna. Okay, I'll end here. Thank you very much. And with this prayer that this satsang continues and the dhusang, it gets eliminated from our present existence. Then there is possibility to become fully Krishna conscious and to perform loving devotional service. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we will perform Kirtan. Now who wants to be the coordinator? Who has time to do the service? Ravinder, you are busy there? जल्दी बोलो, yes या no?
प्रभु जी मैं कल यहीं से बरहमपुर से घर जाऊंगा यहाँ से.
अच्छा, you are traveling. Okay.
मैं क्लास तो अटेंड करूंगा लेकिन दिन में थोड़ा बिजी हूँ.
See, I'll be busy little too. Yes, tomorrow. So Manish Prabhu, you coordinate and you fix who will perform which. It should be all kirtans.
Yes,
Only the bona fide Vaishnava bhajans and
yes,
Harinam Sankirtan. Nothing else. No masala from anywhere. Then it will not be satsang. It will become asatsang. We have to avoid asatsang. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gītā ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande.